Our series, Reflections of Germany, charts the changing face of the country through 6 works of art created during the 20 years since reunification. Today, a mysterious ape man on a motorbike.
A young man sits on his motorbike, revving the engine. Smoke pours from the exhaust. It looks as though the rider is about to take off, but the most he could possibly do would be to ram the garage door. The garage door is closed. There's no handle, and there's no switch to open the door.
And just to show how closed the door is, I've lent this broom against it for emphasis. I don't know whether he could open the door. Perhaps he could dismount and open it. I can't say. But it isn't an option for him because he's taken up position on his motorbike.
The bike is still on the kickstand. The wheels are motionless. The bike is not in gear. But the engine is revving. Paule Hammer's picture is full of contradictions. Here, movement and non-movement are walled in together in a tiny room. The rider is revving the throttle. He smiles sadly with his ape-like face, as though he can't decide between the instinctive prehistoric man lurking within him and civilization, the art on the wall behind him. He's dreaming of distant places, as the glowing emblem on his bike suggests. He could, in fact, go anywhere. The wall dividing Germany that might previously have prevented him from traveling fell almost 20 years ago. The world is his oyster, but he doesn't know where to go or where he belongs. In his picture, Hammer describes one of the basic conflicts of our age.
Ultimately, what's always important is the question, what am I doing here? What am I here for? Am I trying to churn out products that would look good as pictures on the wall? Or am I trying to discover where I am and who I am?
The ape is a self-portrait. The picture is called Der Ausflug, the excursion. It's not clear where he's supposed to be going. The picture describes the artist's struggle with himself and his place in this country, the search for a vision that remains out of focus, one he'd love to drive towards at full tilt. Hammer painted this picture in 2005. At the time, he was still a student at Leipzig's Academy of Visual Arts. He had his first solo exhibition at the Spinnerei, Leipzig's acclaimed gallery complex, and this particular painting was sold before the opening.
I was fascinated by it at once. I can't really describe how it happened. The picture just fascinated me, quite apart from whether it would fit in my apartment or not. It was clear I had the right wall for it. That's this wall here. And even if I hadn't had the right wall for it, I'd have had to buy it anyway. I describe it as one of his major works because there's incredible energy in the picture. But you also see that the energy won't necessarily be released. It's trapped in this small room. And that energy is an energy of desperation, in my view at least.
Paule Hammer continues to paint. He's now working on a kind of encyclopedia of art that goes well beyond the edges of the actual canvas. Art flowing into reality becomes the reality of art.
With the passage of time, I've realized that art may be dreaming of a condition that might once have existed or might exist again. That's the utopian part of art, a situation where art may one day no longer be necessary. And that is hidden in this picture of palm trees. It's a state of being we may reach one day or may never reach, but I think art is closest to that state. It gives us an inkling of what could be someday.
So art can supply visions, but in this picture it still appears baffled. Perhaps the switch for the garage door will turn up one day.